Hello, everybody. It's episode number 284 Tommy Maroon Sports Show right here on WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television. Anyways, folks, I got to tell you something about the Cleveland Guardians because their season is essentially at the halfway point by now. I mean, more than halfway. I mean, they're 46 and 49. If you do the math, that is, I think, 95. And it is 95 games. I was right, like I always am. Anyways, 12 back in the AL Central, 4.5 from the third wild card spot, and 1 back from Minnesota for second place. Tied for third place with Kansas City. Things may not be looking good for the Guardians, but you gotta admit they did win 6 of their last 7 ball games. All right, that's not shabby. And they have been outscored by 45 runs in the season so far. Already mentioned that they're tied for third and 1 back in Minnesota for second. But did you know that they're 20 and 23 at Progressive Field and played more road games thus far? 26 and 26. Yes, sir. And they're 21 and 37. Yikes, against teams above 500. That ain't good, folks. That ain't good. I know the Guardians aren't really the best team out there, but still. Always worrisome. And their second half of the season begins with them hosting the Oakland Athletics, or at least should be Oakland Athletics, but they are not because the ownership is so horrible. But I'm pretty sure we all know that by now. We all know that by now. What we didn't know by now is that there's also the Guardians playing the White Sox, and the Guardians won that series by a score or by a set of 3-1. Always good to see that. When you saw the Guardians launch 3 home runs in Game 1. And Logan Allen had 6 innings of 5 strikeouts in Game 1. There's a familiar face, Aaron Savali. Remember Aaron Savali? He pitched for us a few years back. And now he's with the White Sox. And of course, Jose Ramirez launched a 2-run bomb in Game 2. And the White Sox, I ought to say, walked it off in Game 2, so there was that. But that would be the only time the Guardians will lose to Chicago, because everything else started or ended pretty darn smoothly. Stephen Kwan, 2 RBIs in Game 3. Carlos Santana, 2 hits in Game 3. And then this game right here, Kyle Manzardo, who hit a home run the game before, hit a home run again in this game. A 3-run bomb out to deep right field. And Stephen Kwan hit the go-ahead sac fly in the 10th inning of Game 4. So there is that. The Guardians, once again, will be playing Oakland. I'm sorry, I will always say Oakland because that is completely unfair to the city of Oakland. I'm very sorry. And then a 4-game set against Baltimore. So 2 last-place teams. My goodness. Oakland in last place by 7. Baltimore in last place by 6. Even though the Orioles are starting to get a little bit hot now. They are 6-4 in the last 10 games, but still, is it too little, too late for the Orioles? Who knows? What I do know is that Slade Ciccone is on the mound for the good old Guardians on Friday night. It's on Channel 3. My goodness, the Guardians, I can actually watch them for once. Holy cow, I don't believe it. They are never on TV because of streaming services and all that not so fun stuff. We'll get to why I don't like it in just a bit, but we got to get to high school football because high school football is a lot of fun, folks, but I'm pretty sure we all know that by now. The Metro Athletic Conference and the Lorain County League. You know, folks, everything you need to know right there. I'll get to the big games in just a bit as I pull them up in just a minute. But yeah, looking at things right now, Streetsboro's going to win the conference with an overall record of 9-1, 7-0, excuse me, folks. And then in second place will be the Northern Panthers. They will be 9-1 likewise. And 6-1. Their only loss coming to the good old Streetsboro Rockets and Field Falcons. 8-2, 5-2. Ravenna and Woodridge, both 5-5, 3-4. Cloverleaf 4-6, 3-4. Coventry Comets 3-7, 1-6, and the poor Springfield Spartans will not win a conference game this year. 2-8 and 0-7. Then the Lorraine County League, home to some of the smaller schools in Northeast Ohio, so there is that. And it includes folks like the Keystone Wildcats, who I think are going to run the regular season going 10-0, 7-0. And the Columbia Raiders in second place, tied with the Clearview Clippers, but I think Columbia is better head-to-head, 8-2, and of course, 5-2, along with Clearview being 7-3, 5-2. Speaking of 7-3, 5-2, the Firelands Falcons, led by BW alum Ryan O'Rourke as the head coach. Wellington Dukes, 4-6, 2-5. Black River Pirates, 3-7, 2-5. Brookside and Oberlin, both going to be 2-8, 1-6. Let's look at the big games. First off with the good old Metro Athletic Conference, which will be home to Talmadge, Roosevelt, and Cuyahoga Falls starting next season, so there is that. But looking, Fields got Norton week 5, and Fields got Streetsboro week 9, so there is that. When is the big game between Norton and Streetsboro, you might be wondering? Looks like it will be week 6. Week 6. So there is that. Another game that I think is going to be interesting is Norton Cloverleaf the following week. Week 7. Don't sleep on Cloverleaf. I know I got them going 4-6, but you never know what can happen in that game. And what else? What else? The Streetsboro Rockets opened their season with back-to-back Suburban League American Conference teams in Copley and Roosevelt. Of course, Roosevelt will be moving over to the Metro Athletic Conference next season. Copley's going to be tough, but we already mentioned Copley several weeks ago. Good Lord, it's been several weeks. Think they will lose to the Alliance Aviators week 3, the Rockets. And what else is out there? Lutheran East Norton week 2. That should be a good game. Poland Seminary week 3 between Field and Poland Seminary. Of course, that will also be a good game. And looking at Streetsboro, they have Norton, of course, that's week 6. Cloverleaf ends at week 10. Field week 9. So week 9, it's Streetsboro Field. I think that'll be a pretty darn good ball game, in my opinion. And what else is out there, you might be wondering? Well, let's look at the good old Lorraine County 8. It is consisting of Clearview Westlake week 2. That'll be fun. Columbia Independence. They're not bad, if I'm not mistaken. That'll be week 1. And Fairview will be a tough team week 1 as well. And looking at it, Clearview ends the season playing Columbia and Keystone. 2 tough teams in my books. They'll be at Columbia and hosting Keystone for weeks 9 and 10 respectively. And let's not forget, Firelands is week 6, if I'm not mistaken. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, I'm right. I'm always right. And Columbia, let's look at them. They got Black River, a good rival of theirs, week 5. And Keystone week 8. Clearview week 9. Firelands week 10. It'll be win-loss against Keystone, Clearview, and Firelands respectively. And Keystone Columbia ends the season for Firelands. They'll lose to Keystone, beat Columbia, in my opinion. Wildcats, of course, going undefeated, 10-0 on the season. So there is that. Anyways, folks, unfortunately, I have some very frustrating news to share. It's at my YouTube channel. You know I have a YouTube channel, folks, WHBW, which was your one-stop for all things Highland and Baldwin Wallace. Well, not anymore, because it's just Highland now, and that gets me very, very unhappy, because I don't know if you folks heard, but the OAC and Flow Sports, lousy Flow Sports, oh boy, they just signed an exclusive deal with each other, which means that all OAC broadcasts will be on Flow Sports now behind a paywall, which means that my YouTube channel is basically done with for BW games, BW live streaming, and that makes me very frustrated, in my opinion, because I've been working hard, and it's not the school's fault. I'm not mad at the school. If anything, I'm at Flow Sports. But yeah, I think it's just a money grab, in my opinion. The OAC is not the only school doing it. I know the GMAC in Division II, home of Ashland, the Ashland Eagles, they did the same thing, which makes me very unhappy in my opinion. My goodness. But yeah, they just decide to kill all the fun between independent YouTubers like myself, and it makes me very unhappy. But, oh well. I guess that's just how it is, folks. But anyways, we have 36 days till high school football. I cannot wait for this one. It should be a dandy in my opinion. It should really be a dandy altogether. Of course, Highland's got Erie McDowell week 1. It's going to be a whole bunch of fun. And then week 2, Hudson at home. Week 3, Avon Lake. I have a playlist that I sent to Mr. Bailey, the good old Highland athletic director. And he is a fan of it. He really is a fan of it, folks. Yes, sirree. He said he likes it. If I can pull it up, I'm not going to show you it because I gotta be very calm about it and not spoil things. But yeah, we have songs for before we hit the tunnel, before the kickoff, after touchdowns, after field goals, after a safety, for heaven's sake, after the first quarter, after the second, before the second half begins, after the third quarter, before the game ends, if there's an overtime, after a win, and as much hype music as possible, as I wrote down, and all songs must be clean. And he said, hey, ask for suggestions. You never know. Maybe someone's got a good idea. Hope someone's got a good idea. But yeah, don't worry, folks, about my YouTube channel, because there's always the fact that, Highland games will still be on WHBW, including the alumni soccer game tonight. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Alumni soccer game for girls soccer. Yes, sirree. Of course, this is a team that made the state finals last year and would love to do it again this year, folks. You just know that. You just know that. Cannot wait to see that game. That'll be at 6 p.m., opening kickoff at 6 p.m. It'll be on YouTube. I'll be on the call for it. Should be a whole bunch of fun. I cannot wait to see who comes on top, whether it's the alum or the current team. I'm just saying, that's going to be really exciting. First live stream of the 2025-26 season, and I think it's coming up not so long from now. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. But you know that for a fact. I also know that the Tommy Maroon Sports Show is right here on WCTV. It's always fun because why not? We do a bunch of fun stuff here. We have rap songs. I don't know if I'm going to make one for the football team this year. I'm probably not going to. Also have highlights and picks, predictions, everything. If you want to watch next week, so tune in next week then. Tommy, thanking you for watching. So long, everybody.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.